Stick around for a few minutes, and we'll see if we can get to you at the end. All right, so Cliff, let's give you one more shot here.
Okay, let me get started. My name is Cliff Eberhardt, and I'm a graduate professor with Central Michigan University. And what I want to do is try to give you an overview of where we are when it comes to making the transition from face-to-face to online. What I like to say at the beginning is that it's very complex in doing it, so it is really a work in progress, and it probably will be a work in progress for some time to come. My field of study is cognitive psychology. I guess you may want to know what cognitive psychology is. Cognitive psychology is basically a branch of psychology that deals with information processing, how we process information, how computers process information, and understanding that can give us a good understanding about how to use online instruction in a more effective way. I've been using Blackboard for over 5 years. I've been using Wimba for, I guess, about 3 years. I teach courses in instruction, theory and practice of instruction, curriculum development, issues in education, and educational research. Personally, I think this educational technology, whether you agree or not, is the first step to educational reform, because if we can reform how we deliver instruction, we can almost reform the whole apparatus of education. Okay, I really want to frame this discussion about transferring so that we can get a good, so I can get a good feel about what others are doing when it comes to basically transferring from online instruction, with transferring from face-to-face instruction, classroom instruction to online instruction. And at a point, I want to try to get the mics open so we can have voice discussion as opposed to a text. So bear with me a little bit. When we get to the point, I want to try to get the mics on. My goal in this presentation is, for one, to give you an overview of what CMU's off-campus program is like and where we stand today as far as our instructional delivery. Secondly, I want to give you an example of how we have created a website that will allow our professors and students to go in and create lessons and activities, so we will have a better approach to coming up with our own exclusive method of teaching online. CMU, Central Michigan University, has a graduate student population of over 5,000 students. It has 60 locations across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Classes are held in a compressed format, usually meeting alternative weekends for 6 weeks or every week for a 7-week period. The contact hours are basically 36 hours. In some states, you have to do 42 hours. There are several reasons that we have found that would allow us to use online instruction. Of course, we have this health crisis, this H1N1. What if we had plans prepared ahead of time? Maybe we could have come up with online instruction that could have supplanted us going to the classroom and passing the H1N1 flu on to other people. So I think that when you look at the reasons to use online instruction, we have the health crisis, we have inclement weather, and a lot of times you can just do some things that you want to do. And a lot of non-instructional usages, for example, disaster preparation, office hours, and technological meetings. Let's look at some barriers. One barrier is a lack of professional development. Another barrier is full-time equivalency. I'm sure you've all heard the word FTE, and that is basically how the state divvy out the money to colleges and universities based on the student population or seats in the class. Another barrier is the devaluation of the prestige of the traditional degree as opposed to online. A lot of people have not accepted the value of online instruction as opposed to classroom instruction. I think there's a lot of people who feel that online instruction, you cannot really tell who you are teaching. The lack of an adequate time frame and resources to create online lessons and activities that can stand the scrutiny of an evaluation. One of the best evaluation tools you have with online instruction is your archive. Once a session has been archived, anybody can come back and evaluate your presentation, evaluate your delivery, evaluate your content, evaluate your knowledge of the content. So I think when it comes to evaluation of what we're doing, once this thing is archived, you can go back and improve on yourself, and your supervisor can go back and tell you where he thinks or she thinks that you did wrong. The lack of a formalized agreement or protocol to sustain educational commitment, that's not a commitment, one that is written down that allows us or give us the impetus to try to move forward on online instruction, away from the classroom to online instruction. The lack of a national agenda and funding. We hear that people are talking about putting money, but we never see it. I don't see it in my involvement with online instruction. And another problem that we've seen with our faculty is not so much a negative, but the lack of imagination when it comes to creating lessons and activities for the internet. You can put some things up for teachers to work with, but for them to conceptualize things on their own, it seems like there's a barrier.